it's relevant, I think it would be very educational, um, because there might come a time when you might have that same idea for an app, or you've already developed an app. I don't know, but why not? Let's not shy away from it. Um, and what I realized is every app in the world can be remade. There's an there you just take your favorite app and think about, if it was yours, how could you make it better for you? You build the app for yourself, and then of course that will branch off into other things. Um, Pretty interesting stuff. All right. I'm doing all, and the thing about my app, and it's going to be next level. And the thing about it is it's powered by AI. It literally is, right? I mean, you hear that all the time, like powered by AI. No, but this one it is. And when the users use it, they're going to realize, like, all right, this is not your regular app. This is putting the power into the people's hands when they log on to the app to do what they got to do. And so that's what I'm working on. And I haven't been this determined to finish something in a very long time. It's somewhat exhausting though, because you start to forget about your life. You know what I mean? Uh, so anyway, guys, welcome tonight. Um, we are going to do the module 19, network security and troubleshooting. Um, I also, for some reason, I thought we were going to be discussing the um, the Apple machine, the Mac OS. But that's going to be week 9. So next week we will actually be discussing um, practicing using the Mac OS. And so for that, I've done it early. I was When I was preparing for it tonight, I started to look at week 9. It just caught my eye. And it's kind of a quick little week where you're practicing using the Mac, and you're um, doing the commands and studying all of these features. And so what I thought was, why not? I have an image that I put into the file section that will enable you to spin up a virtual machine Mac. And this is the .rar file, raw file. But this file, it's an old file, but I believe it still works. And I'm going to try to get it to work by next week, and demonstrate how to pull up a Macintosh in a virtual machine. Um, there are different ways to do it, but this is one way to do it. And we would have to unzip this file. So it was huge. It was a huge file for us, but we got the space. And but what happened is, you can unpack this and use this. I think it's called seven zip or something. It's a program that zips files a lot faster. If you try to just do unzip with the Windows, it may say 24 hours that it's going to take. But if you use this 7-zip program, it will unzip it in probably 2 to 3 minutes, and then it will be um, and then you will see the image, either the iOS file or the ISO file, or one of those files that you could then put into a virtual box, or even a hypervisor, or even the virtual machine, one of those that you like to use, and then you will be able to spin up your own Mac. Because if you're like me, I've never really owned a Mac in my adult life. When I in childhood, we had Macs in school, in elementary school. We played the Oregon Trail on Macs. Like that was it. That was the extent of my Macintosh, you know. I don't want to date myself, but we'll do that. That's next week. But this week we got network security and also troubleshooting. And there's probably some overlap from core one. Okay. 'Cause they talk about this. So here it says you should be able to secure a workstation on a network, including managing a browser VPN, WAN connection, metered connection, and whatnot. So we need to know what all these things are. And I might as well, okay. I didn't realize we were already recording. Okay, fine. So here we go. Let's jump into this. So they want us to actually demonstrate how we would go about doing this. Um, if you want to secure a browser, either the Chrome or your Edge, you would sign into the browser, sync the data, manage the extensions and any plugins you might have, use the password manager, use pop-up blockers, all of this good stuff, right? Secure connections and sites and whatnot. So that's a lot. So this is what it would look like if we try to do it. Um, they're pulling up the edge, and inside the edge, you will see all the different things that they have. Yeah, I do have Edge, but I don't really use it. Let me see if I can spin it up real quick. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think Google did it better. Yeah, so I'm not gonna sign it. I'm not signed into it, so I don't even think um I'll be able to get very far. I mean, if I pulled up settings and then um went inside there, it does look very similar to what our image looks like here, except that they've actually went down into the privacy part and uh and then you have all these different options to kind of secure the browser. So browsers are really interesting though. Browsers are something else. You could really be lost in the browser. And I'm talking about not even the web, but the browser itself. Um, there are some very powerful programs nowadays. Um, they have consoles inside of them where you could start to code inside of their browser now. I mean, it's just insane what browsers can do. And there was that one guy, oh man, I'm thinking of it. He 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 really blew up. He started a website where people can code on his website. And it's just gotten better and better over the years. Um, and what he was on Hacker News, that website, like back when he first did it, he was like his company was on Hacker News all the time because what he did was he solved a problem, and that was being able to run code in the browser. And before him and his team did it, it was a roadblock for many people. We would have to just download the software and do it. But now that they hacked the browser, figured out how to do it. When you go to his website, and I should be able to find the website just so that we're clear on everything that I'm talking about, because that is part of what I was talking about earlier. When you want to build an app, you can go to his website, build the app, host the app, and everything on his site, and in a matter of days. Um, so you do want to know the website that I'm talking about, and you probably already know as well. And I'll pull that up. I'll probably have to do a quick search for it or something. But it I probably should use Edge more. But the truth is you only really need one browser. Okay, maybe two. Okay, maybe two. Sometimes I do use Firefox for just for some things. Okay, Edge. I don't know, man. The thing about Microsoft, and I'm not talking bad because they're in our backyard, you know, but they're data hungry, man. I sometimes I just feel like they want everything, and 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 they'll stop at all costs. I mean, they won't stop, but it kind of it's kind of intrusive a little bit, how they get and when they um and also oftentimes you don't even have a choice either. Um, so it kind of it that can form a barrier for some people. Their barrier will go up, and they don't feel at liberty to do the things that they really want to try to do. When you feel like you're being tracked so much. But also some people, when you get older, you just don't even care. You realize that nobody's coming after you, right? And the same people that would come after you is trying to do the same thing you're probably doing anyway. So it's just, it's one of those things. But still. Um, yeah, there's so here they're talking about the different types of browsers depending on your software system. All right, let's get into this. So here's where you would configure Microsoft Edge and other installed browsers to use one or more proxy servers. All right, and that's one thing that's good about the Firefox is is when you're using that one, it's really set up to have all the traffic go through a proxy. So then you could secure it or control it. And so if you've ever heard of the thing called Wireshark, um, that's one of the first things you would use when you are um, doing information gathering. If you're a part of a red team in cybersecurity, or if you're doing another hobby of mine is ethical hacking. The first phase of ethical hacking is information gathering. And so when you go to the websites, they say to you, these are the domains that are okay. You can explore all you want, and they give you, it might be example.com/ something. So that's the domain that you can use. And so they give you the domain that you have to try to hack into. The first thing you're going to want to do is just collect all the information that you can about that domain. And oftentimes that will require using Wireshark and setting up a proxy server so that um, all the information can go through Wireshark and you can analyze it and things of that sort. Um, Pretty interesting stuff. So here they're talking about when you download a new browser, be sure to download only from a trusted source, and you can verify the download is error-free by comparing the hashes. And and if the browser developer provides a hash value, you can compare those two values. And there are programs that can do that. It's rarely done. A lot of people don't do it enough, as much as they should, usually because they're in a rush and they don't care. It's not crucial, what they're working on, the data that they're working on. But I think it is good practice. And if you are taking a job in IT, it is good to have that that type of habit. Okay. Um, so you can verify the download by hash. And there's sometimes you just type it in and it will tell you what the hash is, which is a unique number. They if one if if just one little minute change is done to the software, even if it's just a space on a word that, like, let's say someone created a software, and then a paragraph and then explaining the software. Let's say that someone deleted out a word, or added a space, or they took something, they changed it, and that was the only change in the software, was just a simple plus sign, which is irrelevant. The program still operates the exact same way. But if there was just a single change, the hash value would be different. It probably won't be that much different. Like if you were to look at them side by side, they would look pretty much the same. Maybe. I mean, they would differ. They obviously will be different, but it's not going to be like totally different. It may be though, depending on. Um, I mean, I've seen it where we made a change to the software and the hash came out extremely looking totally different. And so if the hash values aren't the same, then you know you didn't download the one that you were supposed to download. Instead, you download one that has been modified by someone or something. Um, and there's other classes where you will get the opportunity to explore around with all this stuff, the SHA-1, SHA-2, and stuff like that. Here is an extension where you have a hash generator. And so that's kind of cool. You could put in a file and generate its own little hash value. And then there you have it. You have your own hash value. Um, it almost looks like some kind of crypt, crypto address. Um, so so there you have it. You have that, and then from there, now um, you could publish that value, and whenever someone downloads it and they check that hash value, it has to be exactly the same. Otherwise, the file has been the file is changed in some way. So yeah, there's a lot of components to securing the browser. We're just kind of looking, glossing over all of these things. We're going to get into creating a VPN connection. All right. All right. So we all know a VPN is a virtual private network. You see it used in, um, big corporations and companies, and the data is encrypted using a technique called tunneling. VPN can be managed by operating systems, routers, third-party softwares. The VPN connection is a virtual connection, so you are setting up a tunnel over an existing connection. So when creating a VPN connection, always follow directions given by the admin who hosts the VPN. Interesting stuff. Yeah. So here's an example of where you would go about. Here's an example of where you would go about creating your own um, VPN connection. So you go into the network connections, and then you would choose this. That would pull this up. You talk about the type that you want to do, and you want to authenticate it, and there you have it. It is set up and it's good to go. Pretty straightforward. Um, there's another there's another type of connection, and this is called a WAN connection. So you have your wireless wide area network connection. So it's pretty interesting. It requires a contract with the cellular carrier and a USB broadband device and a SIM card. It kind of reminds me of like that pineapple from Hack 5. Um, when the device installs, it automatically launches a program for you to connect the carrier with a username and password. And then this will allow Windows to manage the connection in the settings app and click network and internet cellular and all of that. Here's a meter connection. Um, so here it says to set an alert when you have almost reached a data limit for a metered connection in Windows 10 in the settings app. So you click network, internet, go to status, click data usage, and then there you'll see it. You could see, and then what you would do was you would enter a limit, and based on that limit, that will give you an alert, because you know, you could be on a plan where you don't have unlimited. And so, you know, you got to be careful because if you don't have unlimited and then you end up going over, your bill can just get outrageous. It'd be hard to manage. It's out of control. So, this could fit someone. It also depends. Maybe you know, maybe you don't use the internet much at your house and when you're at home. So you can set up a metered type of connection. All right, let's keep pushing through this. Okay, so here they're talking about the three different types of firewalls um, used to protect the network and individual computers on the network. So as you can see, the personal firewall will look something like this. There's something called a network firewall. And then the network hardware firewall may even have one. And then there's the internet. um, so the three different types, you see them here. The hardware for the network, the actual network firewall, and then we have some personal firewall. So that's all. It's pretty straightforward. Let's look at the next uh, page. Okay. So let's say you want to configure the security levels. Um, like you want your machine to be discovered on your own network or some other network. Um, you can activate these things. There could be a case where this is very practical. Um, Especially if you're in again a huge corporation and you want to be able to get access when you're in the building from wherever, and you want to be able to connect to your main computer. I mean, there's all kinds of cases where you might want to configure this. All right, let's keep going. So the Internet of Things, the IoT, um, how do we secure those? What's happening there? So again, the wireless communication protocol used by IoT devices include Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Z-Wave, and Zigbee. All right. For smart devices to truly be IoT device, you must be able to control them over the internet. Okay. Pretty good. Let's see. Um, so here is an IoT device connected to a smart home network may use a variety of wireless technologies. All right. There could be a lot. Um, a good exercise is to do one of these for your own home. Map out all of the Internet of Things that you have running in your home. I mean, it could get ridiculous. There could be even medical devices that you might have in your house. You know, like if someone has like um, a CPAP machine, um, a watch, um, the like if you have the Ring camera, or even I think it's called Bling, um, and there's just so much more. I mean, not only is the computer itself, but most of your games, like if you have like even a Nintendo Switch and all of these other devices, um, you know, they're connected to the network. They can be. Um, there's something called the smart light bulbs. There, yeah, I don't know too much about those. I've not seen any of these types of things. Um, except at work, but I'm talking personally, I haven't in my house. But yeah, work. Now that I think about it, there are some smart light bulbs out there, and and now even doorknobs as well. Vehicles. I know my truck has Wi-Fi. Vlad has, wow, you got a total of 26 clients connected to your network. That's a lot. That sounds like a lot. Um, are they all in your house? You know? Oh, so you have a smart home. I think once you go past like five or 10, uh, you you yeah, that's pretty cool. Does anybody have what's the name? Oh, you actually have those bulbs? So wait, how do you? Oh, what what they just turn off by themselves, or they come on by themselves, or you can turn them on with your phone? Do you have Alexa? Wow. So when you're close, the light will turn on? Man, I need to stop living under a rock and give it the times. I didn't even know that was a thing, but how convenient that would be. You know how many people stub their toe at night? I guess it doesn't happen to you. Yeah, it would be nice. I often sometimes I leave the lights on and I come back and I'm like, wait, the light has been on for like 7 hours. The whole house could burn down. That's cool, man. I don't know, man. You're making me want to like look into it. So here, some tips about it. I think having a light bulb is kind of innocent though, right? As long as it doesn't have a camera and a speaker somehow, I think your light is cool. I mean, what's the worst that somebody can do to you? Like prank you and make it do the opposite of whatever you want it to do? That would be pretty bad. But but I guess they are a gateway though to other things, right? I mean, it could be that someone could connect to the bulb and then from the bulb connect to your account somehow. I don't know. So it could get a little weird. Um, wow. That that's pretty nice. That's got to be like worth it right there. Just that feature alone. Having your phone tell you that the light is on and you're not even in that room anymore. It doesn't detect you or anyone that's connected to that bulb. I wonder if it's more of a Bluetooth technology type of thing. It's really interesting. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, there's actually a lot of we're gonna pick up the pace and try to fly through the rest of these. Um, we're closing in on halfway through these slides here, and yeah, that was fascinating. Now, wow, yeah, I didn't know about it. It probably is going to last so much longer too. Um, it's just the energy conservation piece. That's huge, man. Um, so let's jump into this, and we're just going to kind of skim through this, kind of pick up the pace a little bit. So there's something called security and multifunction router for Soho. Okay. In two steps, you got your ISP network, then you got the LAN, and there is a Soho router that stands between your internet service provider and your local area network. All right, that's pretty interesting. Now, most days, the router and the modem is one. Um, but there are a lot of people that have their own setup. They don't just use the box from their own cable, like from their cable service. There are many other alternatives that you could do. And one of the main ones is again, just start your own, have your own cable. But okay, you probably gonna have to get a permit. That's gonna be a little weird, but it is possible. Um, router placement for best security, right? Also physical security. It's a good question. It should be centrally located, placed behind a locked door, and up to about 70 meters. It's good stuff. And logging into the router firmware, the gateway, and all these things. You can upgrade this, change passwords, the default admin or whatever it is. Um, and let's get into the firewall settings. Remember, that's one of the firewalls. Your network can have a firewall, and there's different settings that can secure it. Port forwarding, DMZ, subnetting. Yeah. I'm sure we all have some kind of experience in this in one way or another. I know when you changing the channel is a game changer. Sometimes that by default they when they set up your network, they put it on like the busiest thing and everybody's on the default because a lot of people just don't have the knowledge. But just changing that one little tweak can speed things up tremendously. And I think there's even apps out. It's been a while. I barely remember doing it, but there are apps that can kind of show you the traffic on each channel. And then from there, you can determine which one's less busy and then tune it to be on that one. Because if you're on one where it's less, you're just going to have a totally different experience. Um, yeah, networking is always been a very interesting thing. It gets very technical though. Um, for a while I was studying radio station engineering. Over there at Cal Berkeley in the Bay Area in Oakland. I think they still run the company. They're a bunch of like hippie dudes, but they'll sell you a transmitter in parts, and then you have to actually solder it all together. They'll sell you the antenna and everything, and you could have like at minimum a 3 mile radius FM station, your choice of channel, and the whole physics behind it is it's just it's pretty cool. I mean, you just got to put it pretty high up though. You got to find a really high place to put it, like on top of a roof or something. But imagine even scaling one of the tall evergreens and putting it on top of an evergreen tree. Man, depending on the type of antenna you have too, that can kind of determine um, kind of range you get. But now everything is digital, so it's kind of like, nobody really listens to FM anymore. But a lot of these dudes, they're doing it without the FCC even knowing. They just don't care, and because they feel like it's their right. Um, but the way it's all interconnected is pretty interesting. And nowadays you can do it digital and have your FM as well. So pretty interesting stuff. Let's jump into this last part. Securing a wireless network. Um, there's encryption for your router. You got the enterprise environment, and then there the three well-known security protocols. Hmm. Yeah, this is the 802.11 is is what it is. That's usually what you're doing. But again, if you happen to, have the knowledge and the know-how and whatnot, and you've done your research, there are other alternatives out there. But you know, you got to have a reason why you're doing the things that you're doing. All right, we've reached the first knowledge check, and it says, as an IT tech, you arrive at a customer's home office to troubleshoot problems they are experiencing with their printer. While questioning the customer to get an understanding of their network, you find they have a new Wi-Fi router that connects wirelessly to a new desktop and two new laptops, in addition to multiple smartphones, tablets, and the network printer. So the Wi-Fi router is just normal. Okay, that's normal things. They also have several smart home devices, including cameras, light switches, kind of like Flat's house, maybe a thermostat. All right, supported by an IT controller hub. To work on the printer, which type of network will you be interacting with? They have all these different names: PAN, WAN, WAM, LAN. It's they all seem similar. We say D. D is going to be the answer. It is D. It's the LAN. All right. It can have a variety of several devices, but it is always limited to a single router that creates the boundary for the network. A single router indicates a LAN. So that is going to be what you're working in. All right, the local area network. All right, using the remote access tech. So here we have uh, four, four, four parts. Yeah, this is interesting. So services such as OneDrive and Dropbox are slowly replacing FTP as a file transfer tool. That's true. I also have the Google Drive downloaded on my desktop. And the problem is I don't use it much because my Google Drive doesn't have much space and I don't want to pay to unlock it. Um, it's only the default 15 GB and it's probably at 14. But it is kind of cool that I could drop something into my Google Drive on my desktop and it will be online in my drive. So I could then access it anywhere. Um, Honestly, I sometimes still email myself and then log in and just download it off of my email, which is kind of sad to admit. But sometimes that's what I do. But obviously, in your job setup, there will be different types of things that will enable you to transfer tools over. Especially when you're working in a virtual machine, you definitely you're going to almost always want, even if it's a virtual machine on your own computer, you're going to want files from your own computer to somehow get to your virtual machine. And it's not obvious how to do that. But if your virtual machine has a OneDrive or a Dropbox and your computer has it too, then that could be the solution. Another way we talked about was creating a shared folder. So you have to experiment around with that. Um, Usually the shared folders are shared between the users of the same machine, but there is a way, like the shared folder does have an address on the network that you could then access in a virtual machine since the virtual machine is on the same network. Here you have the remote desktop connection. I have used that quite a bit personal. There's the MSRA. Here's where you would go to enable remote desktop. I think you have to have, I don't know if it's in every edition of Windows. Um, but if you're in a Linux or even Mac, I mean, the situation might be different. All right. In um, using the remote access technology. So here they're just talking about how a virtual network computing is a client server software. And that is the thing that enables you to screen share. There's the SSH. Well, that's more of a kind of a command line tool, or if you're in the command prompt or PowerShell, you're going to be doing stuff like that, or Telnet, and you know, um, and then there's the RMM, which is software that you would have to install, and that will monitor all of the remote connections and stuff like that. So pretty interesting stuff. So, it boils down to, hey, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you want to do, there's the computers can accommodate you and your setup and the things that you need to do and get and to be productive and to, you know, further the technology agenda. Yeah, there's something in the chat. Vlad posted, you like to use this app called Local SYN. And so local SYN will transfer files for you. Okay. So it's good to go from your iPhone to your Windows machine through local SYN. Huh, good for you. Yeah, I don't have any experience with that, but it's interesting. So here's kind of how the SSH process works, which is the secured shell. That's what it stands for. Um, it it has to do with the keys. So in order for the shell to happen, um, you basically have to have the key, and then it'll create the session, and then you'll send over your credentials, just like what this is saying. It's a process. What's interesting is that third step, how they're both kind of connected. Here are some commands that you could put into the PowerShell, maybe even the command prompt too, which there are two different things, right? They are different. Command prompt and the PowerShell are two different um, terminals, but some of them they do have similar commands, and they're somewhat Linux based as well. So we do Windows. Let's see, Windows R. Um, wow, I just pulled up my um, command prompt, but let's see if ping will work here. Okay, ping was recognized. Okay, I don't even have a target in mind. Let's get out of there. Host name is another that will display the host name of the computer. Um, and there are options as well with this command, just like with ping. There are many different options. The target name, and that could even be the computer name. Um, like if someone had a computer name that was on the same network, you could probably ping to it, and that will, give you. Sometimes it gives you the time, like in milliseconds. Um, I'll let you know how fast your system really is. There's ipconfig, NSLOOKUP. I mean, and these are things that you study in the Linux admin course that's coming up. Um, Tracer T, okay, it's good stuff. Path ping, netstat. Those are all good stuff. Let's do this real quick. It says you're you're troubleshooting a network connection for a client at their home office after pinging the network's default gateway. You discover that the cable connecting the desktop to the router have been damaged by foot traffic and is no longer provided a reliable signal. You replace the cable, this time running the cable along the wall so it won't be stepped on. What do you do next? Apply port forwarding on the router. Use the ping command. Use the host name command, and then reboot the router. Well, there's kind of a tell for this one. They want you to use the ping command, ping the router again to confirm that the network connection is actually working. Okay, and that's going to run toward the end of the slides there. Um, I wonder if I had pinged. Oh, no, I was going to ping the gateway default, but I'm not gonna. We won't do that. Um, Yeah, so one of the websites I was telling you guys about earlier was called Riplet, is what I found out. And Riplet has gotten much better. When it first came out, it was just, it was nice. It was decent, but over time it got better and better. And now um it's amazing is the only way to describe it now. So when you log into Riplet, it's basically, hey, what do you want to create? Um, and it could be anything tech related, and it will pretty much do it for you. And it's powered by AI nowadays. Um, so pretty interesting site. Let me see if I can get in real quick. The problem is um, it just costs us to unlock all the good features. But I remember when it first came, well, not when it first came out, but usually before the whole AI phenomenon, you would log into Riplet and you would have your own virtual machine, and you'd be able to write code and like create like a new create you would have a script, and then it will say what language do you want it to run in or whatever, or you create an app or something, and it will just do it. But now it's like, all right, if we want to write something in Python or C or C++, you can do it now, and you could write code right smack inside of your browser right here. And you'd be able to run it, process it, package it up, all within this one website. and everything is always saved. So no matter where you go, um, you can always have it. So I thought that was cool. I'll do, let me see if that will actually run. There it is. It ran on its own console. I don't know why they have it in tabs. That doesn't look right. It should be more down here is where it should be. But yeah, right there in the browser. And you could do all of these other things. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, and I'll have to share more about my project that I'm working on, the app that's just kind of taken up a lot of my time and that's just like all I've been thinking about. It's good that I I'm here now though because I get to kind of take a break from it and just kind of let time pass a little bit, you know. It doesn't all have to happen overnight. It does take time, but the key is just constantly working on it, constantly learning about it, and you go on the journey, you know. So um, I originally started developing it in Amazon in the AWS cloud, and now I'm working on the front end, the user interface part of it, and that's out of the Google Cloud Platform. And so now we're just trying to connect all the pieces together. And because I want it to be both an Android and an iOS app, I had to download the Android Studios. And because Android Studios is the studio where you'd have to build it. So it's basically going to be an Android app first, and then I have to create it to be an iOS. It's just interesting stuff. I've actually never built an app before, but this time I think I want to do it. I want to go all the way with it. Um, Even if I don't promote it or try to market it, but just to have it for myself. It's something that I want, and I'll have to share out with it a little bit more and talk to you guys about the security that's been put into place and stuff like that. Like, um, yeah, I used to work in cloud, and I would always get a virtual machine, but nobody does that anymore because what they realized is why activate an entire computer if all you want to do is one or two things. So now it's like a piece of a virtual machine is what it really is. And it just does this one function, and it's just always online. And then this function connects to a storage that stores the file. It's very interesting stuff. I'm excited to continue to work on it and share out more about the project, which I'll be doing in the very near future. But we're reaching toward the end for now. But I think we got a lot done, and be sure to download those ebooks. And then next week we're gonna talk about the Mac, the Mac OS. I guess that's it for now.